Hi, this is Damon Stevens, and this is your daily update of the stock market. We'll be covering small caps and altcoins, which seem like they're performing very well. So let's get right into it. So if you've not subscribed to our channel, definitely go visit FinWealth Live on YouTube or Facebook and subscribe. And that way you continue to get updates on news and information that's being posted. It's earnings week, and we talked about this yesterday, and again continues with today. And you can see that today, this morning, Pfizer, CVS, Under Armour, ConocoPhillips, and so others reported earnings, as well as in the close, we had Skills, T-Mobile, Upwork, Lyft, Zillow, and Match reporting. And so just definitely look at those stocks if you're looking for new opportunities or day trade opportunities. Great way to get some volatility to where you can actually either scalp or day trade these stocks. Or if you're looking at something that's at a bargain price, definitely, on dips with these stocks, a lot of times you can find a dip where you can get in. So just something to be aware of if you're looking for opportunity. So just to recap, so the beat rate for earnings, you can see that 952 companies beat their earnings and 169 missed. So definitely great positivity coming out of the earnings reports, and so that should be good for the market to help to continue to drive it. So we talked about Estee Lauder yesterday. They reported earnings. Today you can see that after the sell-off that they had the prior day, they pretty much almost recovered the entire amount. So they're back up and they've closed at 302 after coming down as low as 286. So this retracement is great to see that. It means that the sell-off was a little too far, and that the bulls came in and bought this back up. So great to see for those who are on Estee Lauder. For Chegg, you can see that had a sell-off, and it did get support here at the 200. As you can see, it had before, twice before. And then you can see today again, it looks like they tried to make a run for it. They also dipped below the 200, but then were able to close right above the 200. So that's good. You can see that there's a lot of bearish volume here, but it was able to close. If they can find support here, they can continue to climb up, and they'll start to climb up and try to get back up around this 88 range. Then close that, they'll go up to 90, 92, and 94, and then up from there. If they can't, and they do break a low and close below the 200, they may come down to 80, or possibly as low as 72, or down to 67. So just something to be aware of if you're in that stock, or if you're looking for opportunity, just be careful around this area. If you're trying to short it, make sure you know that it's broken below the 200. If you're trying to go long, make sure that you see a good positive bounce before you get in. So again, earnings coming up for tomorrow. We have General Motors reporting. We have Hilton. We have Scott's, Horizon. And then after hours, we have PayPal, Etsy, Uber, Twilio, Fastly. So you can see we have some big names here reporting earnings after the close. So lots of opportunity this week with the earnings to find volatility in the marketplace, to find scalping opportunities, day trade opportunities, or to be able to buy some dips and get into some of these stocks that you may want to hold long-term in your portfolio. So overall, the Dow Jones, you can see that they're up 0.06% today. Nasdaq was down 1.88%. And the S&P 500, it was down 0.67%. So you can see here on the heat map that you can see that technology was down, communications was down, consumer cyclicals were quite a bit down as well. But you can see some strength in healthcare, you can see it in industries and some of the financial sectors. So you can see kind of where the money was flowing today. I talked about small caps. It looks like there's a lot of opportunity in small caps. If you look at these small caps here, COCP leads BLXR, BLRX, read. You can see the increases here. And FinBiz, if you go out in the morning, or you may have this on a screen, it'll show you kind of updates on how the markets are doing overall. as well as, who are the top players in the market, which are great opportunities if you're in a scalp or day trade to find opportunities. So let's cover a few of these. So COCP, great trade today. So you can see that that it had a nice breakout, large volume coming in, and we're able to drive the stock up as high as 346. But you can see that retrace actually over more than 50% back down and settled out at 214 today. But boy, this is a great run. So congratulations on those who may have got, a piece of this run up here on this stock. So that's definitely a day trader's dream to grab stocks that are climbing like that and give you a little piece of the pie. So leads is another one that I'm going to cover here, and you can see that again. It had low volume for a while. The last spikes were here, and it had low volume here until it found this more energy today. Spiked up. It spiked up as high as 720, which you can see was where it priorly found a resistance in the past. Back in February, found a resistance at that level and retraced back down, about a third, down to 594. So if it can find support here, it could possibly climb higher back into 720. It's got to break that 720 with daily closes if it wants to continue going higher than 720. If not, it could find, if it loses its energy, it'll probably come back down here and settle somewhere around the $5 range. If it loses that support, the 200s here down at 380 should find support there. If not, down around $3, it should find support as well. So something to be aware of on that stock. Reed's another one that just went parabolic today, climbing from 99 cents up to really a high of 168 before retracing back, a little bit over a third back to 144. So again, if it can hold this and climb higher, it can get up to those new highs and start to move higher. If it doesn't, then it's going to probably close down and settle somewhere around the 130 level. If it loses that, it's going to be around the dollar level. If it goes below that, here you can see you had around 88 cents. You had good support. So wide range, great opportunity, especially for day traders, for swing traders. Not necessarily unless we start to hold these supports, but definitely day trader and scalpers. Great opportunity. Okay, so let's hop to the SPY. You see the SPY actually came down quite a bit today, coming down, 0.62%. Looks like it came down to 411, which is a key support area. If it breaks below that, we could see it close down towards 408, and if it closes below that, it could come down here to this 403 range. So something to keep an eye on. We could possibly have a sell-off here, but it looks like the bulls did come in and help it to close closer to the 5 up here. But it is down a little bit. We're still on a bull trend, so we could continue climbing higher, but it's got to get back above the 5 here to do that. 417, hold that level, and hopefully get back up to over 420, and then move up above that. So if it gets above 420, it may visit 422, 424 area before finding additional resistance. So just something to be aware of. We could also end up just kind of consolidating here too. You can see we did some consolidating here, broke back up, and then we've been consolidating here in this channel as well. So something just to be aware of, and watch the volumes. If you see the volumes going up, bullish or bearish, it gives you a good indicator as far as which direction the market's going to try to push. So the VIX, so the VIX helps you understand what's going on with the SPY. So the VIX moves in the opposite direction of the SPY typically, and you see that the VIX spiked here up to over 121 or over 21. Once it gets above 20, you're going to start to see the SPY come down. That's why the SPY kind of came down today. So you saw this spike here, but you can see that it's settled back down below 20 and closed out. So as long as you can stay below that level and then hopefully decline, you can start to see the market go back up again. If it starts to go up and spikes again and starts to hold, then we could start to see the SPY and other stocks start to come down. So just something to be aware of. If you're looking for an indicator, a way to find out what's going on with the SPY. Triple Q's Nasdaq, you can see that it fell as well. And it also left a gap up here that needs to be closed at some point. It did fall below the 20 and the 50. But you see it closed up in between the 20 and 50. So it's got to find some strength to get back over the 20 and then back over the 5 eventually. If it starts to close in here, we could create possibly a channel here. If it falls below the 50, then you got to look at support around the 325 mark. There's this gap down here at 322. If it gets below the 320 mark here, you could possibly see some larger selling off. So just something to be aware of. Keep in mind as far as where your support is and where the resistance is up here over at the 342.80. So semiconductor space, you can see that it sold off as well. It's below all the 20 and the 50 and the 5 moving averages. It did close down, and it just barely touched here on the 100. So luckily it bounced off of that. It's kind of sitting here in the middle range. It's got to find strength to get back over there to keep its bullish momentum. If it doesn't, we could possibly see a rollover. If it rolls over and breaks below this 233 level, you can see it's quite a ways down to this 200. So just something to be aware of if you're in this, or if you're in the semiconductor space or stocks, just be aware that there's some critical areas that this has got to move to maintain that bullish momentum it had. So Russell 2000 IWM, again, sell off below the 20 and below the 50, but closed in the middle range. So again, it's got to find strength. If it can find strength, it can get back up here, back over to these 226 and then up to 231. If it does not and it starts to fail and falls below this 50, then you're going to come down here to probably somewhere around the 220 range or the 217 range. So just something to be aware of when it comes to the Russell. So Dow Jones, so you can see there that it's sitting here in this little range here. So it's got a consolidation going on here back and forth in this range. It's right now the pressure is pushing up to go north, but you got to wait for it to break out and hopefully come up here and show some strength above this level. Otherwise, it could sit here and consolidate for a while. Something to be aware of, if it does break through that, I could go up to 344 or 346, and probably to 350 is where it would be wanting to go towards. If it does fail, it should be able to find support here at 338 at the 20. If it falls below that, there's a gap here to fill at 332. If it fills that gap at 332 and falls below the 50, then it's a long way down. So you're looking at about 320. So just something to be aware of. The Dow Jones could continue climbing up. It's very bullish right now, so hopefully it maintains that. But if it doesn't and it breaks down, just understand where your support levels are and have a plan. So gold, you can see that gold's been consolidating here. It's currently at 1780, and you can see that it's kind of going back and forth, trying to find a direction right here. It's kind of in mid-range of that direction. If it can get above 1800, you can start to see it go up to 1830 and probably to 1840 or higher. If it doesn't, if it breaks through this resistance here, or the support at on those 20 and the 50, around 1766, it probably will come down here to probably to 1750. If it breaks down, it's 1740. Breaks down from there, you can see that clear down here at 1676 we had support a few times. So worst case scenario would come down here. I don't know if it'll do that. Seems like a long way down, but it should find support along the way. But that's kind of where gold is sitting. Silver also on a bullish. You can see that on May 3rd that it really kind of took off, and then it retraced about 50% of the move, and right now it's just kind of sitting flat here, trying to make a decision. So it's in kind of an indecision mode of whether it wants to go back north again and start to climb higher back to these highs for silver, or if it's going to break down to the 20. If it breaks below the 20 here at 26, it could go down to 25 around the 50, the 100, and if it loses that, you have support here at 25.20, and then down here the 200 at 24.50. So just something to keep an eye on. Right now, it's just trying to figure out which direction it wants to go. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has came down quite a bit, but it did find support here around 53,000, and then started to retrace back up. So it's still around 54,500 right now. It's got to climb back up here to get to 50, up over around 57,000, start breaking back up again. So if we can get it above this 50,000 range, you got the 60,000 range, 62, 65, and then up here at 72,000. If it breaks down, continues to not get above these moving averages, which is below right now, it could possibly come down to this 100, around 50,000. If it breaks down there, the 200 is clear down here at 40,000 area. So that's a possibility, but just something to be aware of. It looks like right now you're just kind of consolidating right now, trying to get a direction or build some energy to make a move. Ethereum. So Ethereum, you can see that it had a great bullish move. It still continues to be bullish. I did a retrace about 50%, and now we got a little indecision candle here, right in the middle. So it's just trying to get momentum or enough direction to move. It might consolidate here for a while in this little range here that's been created. Before making that move, it's just a matter of just watching. But right now, it's kind of in decisive mode of whether it wants to continue to go to new highs, or if it's going to start to break down here down towards the 20 moving average around 2,700, or down to the 50 here at 2,300. So just something to be aware of. Doge is just like on a rampage. It's I don't know if it's the news of Elon being on TV and talking about Doge, but boy, it is just taken off. Look at this, just a massive volume and just a massive move here. You can see the volume is a little bit light here, which is amazing that it doesn't have a lot of volume moving it up. So just something to be aware of. If you don't have a lot of volume and it moves a long ways, it can also move down a long ways really quick. So just be aware. And we're also very extended off of this 5. And so it typically is going to have some type of retracement, as we covered before, about 50% of the move, third to 50%. So something to be aware of. Make sure you take profits along the way. Don't know where this is going to go or top out. It's at 67 right now. It could hit 70 and hit a little bit of resistance and pull back a little bit, or it just might blow right through it. So right now it's just got a really strong parabolic move right now going on with Doge. XRP, a little bit of weakness. You can see that it's come down. It did find support on the 20. Today, again, it's found support on the 20. It's just got to work its way back up. If it breaks the support level at the 20, then it's going to come down here to probably the 113 level. If that breaks that, then you got some support down here at the 88-cent level. So if it wants to start moving back higher, it's got to get some momentum and some strength behind it to move it. GameStop, just consolidating, not a lot of movement, indecision in a direction it wants to go. It could do this for a long period of time, but right now, not a lot of volume here. You can see the volume is very low compared to where it's been. So just kind of a static little area that it's in right now. AMD, you can see the AMD came down and broke the 200. And then today it has also closed below the 200. If it continues to do that, it's going to probably find weakness, and it's going to probably start to come down and retrace some of these older areas around 75 or around the 74 area. So, or 71 here if it really kind of drops. So right now it's finding some weakness. It's got to get some energy to get back above that 200 and close above the 200. For pot stocks, so Curaleaf is just doing great. You can see this nice parabolic move here. You left a big gap here that will probably need to be filled at some point. You can see today that it did come down and touch a little bit, almost above that 50 before pulling back up. So it is up here at this high here and this range here, and hopefully continue to maintain that momentum. But for pot stock, Curaleaf looks like it's trying to really pull up and and get some momentum behind it to move it. So Constellation Brand. So this one you can see that it's been in a bullish trend. It did pull back today, but it's held at the 10 EMA, and so as long as it continues to find support there, as it has the last few days, it should be able to continue to move higher and to reach the new highs. You can see 242.62 is the high that was here. It looks like we broke that, so there's a move higher here at 244.75. If it gets above that, it's going to probably go towards that 450 250 range. If it breaks down, you have support here at the 20 at 237, the 50 at 232, or the 100 here at 225. Starbucks was one of the ones I was looking at. You can see that it had a weakness here today. It actually closed below the 5 and the 20. So it's got to find some support here and get to push back up here. If not, if it continues to find weakness, then you have the 50 down here at 111. So watching that real carefully to see this might have been the full move here, and then we could possibly see a move coming back down here. So just something to watch here to see, are we going to, continue to decline here, or is it going to be able to break back through and move back north again? So just something to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on. Wingstop, you can see that it's in consolidation right now. The last few days, it's just consolidating here, trying to get some energy. Typically on a move up, if it finds its energy and it's above the 200, it's gonna break up north. The longer it stays here, though, it could possibly break back down here, but it's still above the 5, so that's still bullish as long as it stays above that 5. If it closes below it, then we're going to see some weakness. But you see it up here, you have a high of 172.87, which it can work its way up to. If it does break down, it may break down here to this the 20, which it should find support here around 146.50. If it gets down below that, then you have more support down here around the 141 range. So that's swing. So right now, still bullish. Moderna, you can see that Moderna had a nice little sell-off here. Looks like it just barely closed under the 10 today. So it's kind of in between the 5 and the 20. So, if it wants to find strength, you can see that it had got up to the same level here, 189.26 that it was back in February. So it reached that again, found resistance, and it's kind of bounced back down. And so either it's got to pull back up, and it might try to continue to reach and break through that resistance. If not, then it might fall back here to get some energy around the 166 range. If it falls there, it could come down the 155 range around the 50. More likely, though, hopefully it'll find support here around the 20. OCGN. So OCGN is one of the other stocks that I was trading the other day, and you can see that it went parabolic here, but there's a big old gap here. And you notice that today that it filled that gap in. So this is when we're talking about gap fills in the training courses. This is a great example of a gap fill where it kind of bounced up here, created this big long gap, and then came back and retraced back down and filled that gap in. So it did find support here, which it's had, you can see there was a high of 1405 here, and just closed above where there was support before, resistance here, which became support. So we'll see what it can do here, if it's gonna, be able to find enough support here to move forward. It's barely below that 5 EMA. But it's above all the other moving averages, so that's still very bullish. We'll just see what it's going to do here in the next few days. So I covered a couple, outside the norm, because we were seeing some weakness in the tech stocks. You can see that Delta Airlines did have a drop today. I did find support here at the 100 as it had before. So if it can bounce off of here, it may climb back up as it did before, back up to highs. If the overall market's turning down, it could find some weakness and come back down and revisit this 200 at 41.50. So we just got to kind of keep an eye on it. These sectors, have been kind of pretty heavy for a long time. So, pullbacks is probably what we're going to see in a lot of these sectors. if the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq and Dow start to pull down. CCL, you can see that it pulled down as well. It found support here on the 50, so it could possibly bounce up and move back up. If not, then it might come down here and retest down here for support down here at the 50 at 24.50. But you can see here as it broke through in the past through the 50, that typically was able to bounce back. So we did bounce out of it and above it to close out. So we'll just see kind of what it can do here going forward. Netflix, covered Netflix. Netflix is just in a range here. You can see that it's on a support range right on the 200. So, you know, I was a little nervous today when I saw it kind of riding right on the 200, because typically when you see that candle right there, it typically is going to push through and then you're going to move to new lows. You know, if it was new lows, then you're looking at something around the 485 range or down to the 464 range. But it held it. We'll see what it does tomorrow, see what it does in the rest of this week. But right now it looks like it's breaking down, but it did find support the last few days to try to get enough energy to bounce back out of that. All right, and our last stock is Tesla. And you can see that Tesla's, you know, moving back into more of a bull trend here. It did close above the 10. You see it found support yesterday on it, and it's found support again today. It's at 664.75. If it wants to break up north, it's got to get past this 675 and hold and close above this, and then move up to 680, and then it can move up into to 720 and beyond. If it doesn't hold that and it does start to break down for some reason, then you have support here on the 20. It's at 672, 670. It's prior support as well, or 670 would be here at the 50. So that's what I have for you today. Again, if you have not subscribed yet, please visit our website and subscribe, and that way you can get these updated videos. Hopefully you found this helpful, and safe trading out there.